on one hand, it's clear that this regime is over. This regime has lost all its legitimacy. If it had legitimacy outside, it did inside. This regime went from being Bashar al-Assad went from being one of the most popular leaders in the Arab world 3 years ago, in polls that you can all look at, to one of the least today. So there's no question that Assad lost a lot of legitimacy, not just inside Syria, but outside. But there's also no question that this regime, is stopping at nothing to stay in power. It's a zero-sum game to it. It's not a regime that is interested in reform. And Arab reaction to this regime is, to be brutally candid, less about democracy and more about self-interest. So when the Gulf states, are against the regime, it's not because of their love for democracy. It's because of their fear of a Shiite regime or area around them. The fact of the matter is there is no appetite in the international community to do anything about it militarily. There's no domestic U.S. appetite to do anything. I mean, other than, frankly, John McCain and the Wall Street Journal and Fox News, I don't see people pushing the U.S. administration on both sides of the aisle. I don't see people pushing the administration to do anything. The Russians, for all kinds of reasons, are not also interested so far in changing the situation. So the bottom line is, while this regime has no way out, it's not going to be quick. And I'm afraid we might, see at least another year of this before something develops. In my own view, the solution, one cannot have Bashar or his regime stay in power. Two, has to assure the different communities in Syria, on top of which are the Alawites, that they have a future in the country, that they're not going to be massacred. Because frankly, I'm afraid, we're getting to that point. And somebody has to put a political process. I don't want to say a Taif agreement because Taif has its own problems in Lebanon, but somebody has to have a political process to assure all the communities that they have a future, so that they frankly turn against Assad. A lot of people, including the Alawite community, are not happy with what is going on, but they're not ready to give up on the regime because they're afraid of what might happen to them otherwise. Turkey played a very important role, but Turkey's role has limits also, because without UN cover, without Arab cover, I mean, I just looked at a poll today that said 57% of Turks don't want also a Turkish military intervention alone. So there are no easy answers.